Okay, my friends, today we're going to talk about how to put the harmonica in your mouth, and otherwise known as creating your embouchure. And embouchure means the way you place your mouth on a musical instrument. And what we're going to do today, you will need a glass of water and a key of C harmonica. So if you don't have those, go get them, come back, and we'll take it from there. Great. Okay, here's what I want you to do. First step is to hold the harmonica in your left hand. And you see that crease in my finger and on my thumb? That's from my finger and my thumb riding on that rail in the back of the harmonica, that raised piece. So what I'm doing is I've got my index finger on the top cover plate, that's the one with the numbers, and I have my thumb on the bottom part of the cover plate. But I'm intentionally putting my finger and thumb on that rail in the back. And the reason I'm doing that is, as you can see, it exposes a fair amount of harmonica. And that is going to sink into your mouth. You'll see that in a minute. Now, to complete this, you can curl your fingers a little bit like this, and it creates a little space in here that will project the sound. So, okay, once again, index finger, top cover plate, thumb on the bottom. Okay, if you got that figured out, now here's what I want you to do. First, take a glass of water. Notice how easy and natural that feels. Now, when you put the harmonica in your mouth, and what I'm doing is I'm just opening my mouth a little bit to open up, and I'm going to aim for playing the first two holes, the bottom two holes. And just like the glass of water, I tilt the harmonica back a little bit and allow it to sink into my mouth. So I want to feel my lips against this part of my finger and against my thumb and that knuckle. And that way I'll know that the harmonica is sinking into my mouth. And you want to have the inside of your mouth open so the air can move freely down your throat. And so what you're doing when you do this is you're getting the harmonica on the inside of your lips where the skin is more pliable and soft, and it creates a much better gasket than if you're biting down on the harmonica and the harmonica is barely into your mouth. So this one step alone will give you a much richer tone than if you put the harmonica in your mouth without giving it a lot of thought, and you just kind of like, it touches your lips, okay, I'm good to go. Try it again. Water. Now, when you have the harmonica in your mouth, it should feel as relaxed as it did when you were drinking the water. You should release all the tension except whatever muscles are keeping the shape you need. So your upper body stays relaxed, and this area around your lips stays relaxed. And if you're forming anything, use these muscles on the side of your mouth. So that's the basic process for getting a good strong embouchure on the harmonica, and we'll go into more in the next video on how to take it to the next level. You now have a good way to hold the harmonica and bring it up to your mouth. So the next step is, how do you then go from that point to isolating a single note, playing single notes? There's a couple main ways to do that, and we're going to get into that in this video. But first, I'd like to give a little shout out to harmonica instructor and player Larry Eisenberg. He's the guy who showed me this demonstration technique and also influenced my thinking about how you do these processes and how you can maintain your relaxation. So thanks, Larry. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're trying to do here. We're trying to play a single hole, select a single hole out of these 10 possibilities, and play a single note and have it come out nice and clean. So the first thing is, how do we think about the target we're aiming for? So stay tuned. You'll see in just a moment. Let's take a look at where your lips really have to be on the harmonica to isolate a single hole. If you think of the hole in the harmonica as your target, and you pucker your lips or bring your mouth to the size of the hole, this is what you're doing right here. This is 1/4 of an inch, okay? Now, all right, now check this out. This is 1/2 an inch. So that area above and below the hole is the cover plate. So it's sealed off. The area on the blocks on either side of the hole will seal off the hole. So you could actually have an opening in your mouth that is twice as big as you think it should be to narrow down to the point where you're isolating a single hole. All right, so now you know what size opening in your mouth will give you a single note. There are two basic ways to do this, and one is called the pucker style of playing, or the pursed lips style of playing, and it is basically just reducing that opening in your mouth until you get one note. And if you do this with the same basic level of relaxation that you did when you were first learning the embouchure, and there's two ways you can reboot and go back and forth to check yourself as you're doing this to maintain your relaxation. One of them is to yawn. Okay, that relaxes all of your muscles. It gets you back to ground zero. Then you can place the harmonica in your mouth and try to maintain that state of relaxation. You can also use the glass of water. Remember how relaxed and natural that felt. And continue tuning into how relaxed you are, because being relaxed is what gets that super nice gasket around the hole in the harmonica from the skin on the inside of your lips. So that's one way to get the single note. The other is called tongue blocking. And in order to go into tongue blocking, I'm going to switch cameras. All right, now the big mouth is going to tell you how to do tongue blocking. First, I'll show you, this is a Flisco tongue block trainer. And it is basically a hollow harmonica, so it's going to allow you to see what's going on when I work with my embouchure. All right, so first a quick demonstration of pucker playing. So it just goes from, I just narrow my lips until you get a single note. When I'm doing tongue blocking, now what I'm doing is I'm putting my mouth on the harmonica. Okay, you see all those black rectangles? And then I'm going to place my tongue on the harmonica on one side of my mouth, and I'm going to play the single note on the right-hand side. So that's what you're doing. And this is what it sounds like on a key of C harmonica. Okay. That's what you're doing, is you're just placing the tongue on one side of your mouth and then working it until you hear that clear, clean single note. And if you stay relaxed, it will happen. So that's the basic overview of the two main ways to get a single note on the harmonica: puckering or pursed lips versus tongue blocking. I recommend, if you want to play blues, I recommend that you really focus on tongue blocking as much as possible to begin with, and that will get you in the game. That will get you doing this sort of thing. And the more you experiment with it and then go back and listen to the recordings, the more you'll hear what's going on. Little Walter, for example, used tongue blocking in all sorts of creative ways, where he would lightly touch the harmonica and not completely close all of the holes, even with his tongue, and he'd go back and forth playing octaves and playing flutter and other effects. That's moving my tongue back and forth this way. And also getting textural effects by not completely blocking the holes. There's just it's a tremendous range, like a palette of effects that you can get by using tongue blocking. All kinds of shimmering, wonderful textural effects. But the first step is to get that clear, clean single note.